Crackberry.com.
Hey everybody, Blades here for Crackberry.com, and right here in this box is a brand new Blackberry Curve 9360. TELUS started selling them today, so what we're going to do is pop the box open, give you guys the whole unboxing experience, and take a quick look at the hardware and everything like that for it. So let's just jump right into it and just open up the box. First off, you can see that the box doesn't necessarily have any branding except for the Blackberry logo on it. No TELUS branding or anything like that. Much like the Bell version that of the Torch that I had. So no advertising or anything like that. Seems like Rogers is the only one that pretties up their boxes these days. On the top, you'll immediately see that the device is just sitting there. And when you go ahead and you try and pop it out, it's kind of in there really good, so you don't want to make it fling across the room. So try and hold it down while you're pulling it out. Now I did go ahead and take it out earlier just to remove the plastic off of there and make sure that everything was copacetic within. But other than that, I haven't turned the device on yet. So we'll get to the hardware in just a few seconds here, but take a look inside of the box and see what you actually get. You do once again get that random piece of paper that everybody loves. You get your user guides, your setup guides, so that you know how to set up your phone, your product and safety information if you need any of that as well. Your warranty is in there somewhere too. You also get your Blackberry Desktop Manager Connect Me guide, so you can transfer all of your information or anything if you've never done it up before. If you lose this, then you can always hit up Crackberry.com and find out how to set up your phone anyways. You do also get your standard USB charger that is included, so your micro USB charger. So you get a micro USB cable in here as well. So if you need to charge your device, just plug your USB cable in, plug this into the wall, and then you can get your battery juiced up. And speaking of batteries, you actually get a new battery with the Blackberry Curves series. So you get a new EM1 battery, which is remarkably small but compact as well. So we'll find out later on in the review exactly how well the battery holds up versus the other new devices, but it's interesting that it's actually that small. You do of course get a standard set of headphones included. So if you're jamming away on Blackberry music, BBM music, sorry, then you can go ahead and plug those in and start listening to some tunes. Personally, you can grab a different pair, a nicer pair from Shop Crackberry. If you're already a Blackberry user, chances are you have a couple of these kicking around already. But if not, you do of course get a micro USB charger cable in the box as well. That's it. There's nothing else in there. Unfortunately, they didn't include a polishing cloth, which is kind of disturbing, and there's no SD card included either. That pretty much seems standard across all carriers these days. Nobody is seemingly including the SD cards with their packaging anymore. Whether that be a cost-saving measure or whatever the case may be, it's kind of upsetting. So we'll go ahead and just put everything back in here. We'll leave the battery out, of course, because we're going to need that. But move the box aside and take a quick look at the actual device. First off, let's just go ahead and peel this back sticker off. The Connect Me guide is on the back that tells you how to remove your battery door, and you're connected to Blackberry Desktop Manager as well. So we'll just remove that off of there. Now, one of the tricky things here is with the actual battery door. The battery door is really kind of hard to get off. They give you a tab that you can go ahead and pull the battery door off with for the very first time, but you kind of need to dig your thumbnail or your fingernail underneath in order to get the battery door off. So if you don't have this tab, it is really kind of rather difficult. So we'll just pop the battery door off. And put that in there. On the back you can see the NFC tag as well. So unfortunately it doesn't look like you'll be swapping out battery doors at any point in time or anything, which is kind of interesting because the battery door is kind of like the Blackberry Curve series, the original 8520 series. They're not identical by any means, but they're the same material, the same plastic material. So you'll definitely want to invest in a case, because I found that the 8520 battery doors scratched really easy. Oh look, there is a 2 GB memory card in there, so that's my correction. TELUS does include a 2 GB SD card in there. And we'll just snap the battery door back on. You can see the device is booting up right now, which should move along fairly quickly considering there's no apps or anything on there. But that's something to point out as well. The new Blackberry 7 devices basically have been booting up rather quickly without any real intervention or apps loading up. If you load them up, then they all seem to work really quite fine. We do have a polishing cloth here, so we'll just go ahead and clean that screen off for you guys. This didn't come in the box, but I always keep one just sitting around. So while that's booting up, let's just go ahead and take a quick look at the actual hardware. On the left-hand side, you do, of course, have your micro USB port. You, up top, have your 3.5mm head jack. You also have your lock key. There isn't any silent button or anything on these devices, so you're kind of stuck with that. If you click on over to the right-hand side, you have your volume up rocker, you have your volume down rocker, and in between you do have your mute and pause button for music, and you have your right side convenience key as well. There is no convenience key on the left-hand side, only on the right side. So that's something that has become common practice across all devices. Now, Adam mentioned in his Torch review that the buttons were rather small, and same with Joseph. Joseph mentioned that the buttons on the Torch 9860 were rather small as well. So the same buttons are used here. So if you've had any experience with the Torch 9860, these buttons are rather small as well. They're really kind of hard to see there, but over usage they seem alright. I mean, the buttons are kind of raised up, so you could probably feel it in the dark, whatever the case may be. The pause button does kind of concern me, but not so much really that I wouldn't use it or anything like that, or at least attempt to use it. So that's pretty much it for the outside of the device. You do get the full QWERTY keyboard, which realistically feels kind of weird to me at this point, because the last curved device that I've used was actually an 8900. No touchscreen, so you're not going to be flipping through any menus or anything like that. And I don't have a SIM card in here because I haven't unlocked the device yet, and I use a Rogers account. But we can continue on, skip on through some of the stuff. It does, of course, walk you through the setup video, but we don't really need to watch that. We actually seen them all previously because they were posted up. And once you get past the setup video, you're automatically dropped into the options. And there I go trying to touch the screen again. Not touch screen, folks. Remember that. So you can set up your convenience key, your email accounts, your wallpapers and ringtones, even your Wi-Fi and stuff. Your Blackberry Protect. All of that stuff is in the setup application. Now, when it comes to the internals of the device, you do have an 800 megahertz processor in these devices versus the 1.2 gigahertz Qualcomm processor that is in all of the other Blackberry 7 devices. So you're not going to find that here. This one isn't going to be as fast as any of the other devices, but that's what makes it the cost-effective option here. When we go in and we look at the size comparison, of course, you have the Blackberry Bold 9900 here. Set that on top. You can see that the Curve 9360 actually it's really small compared to the Blackberry Bold 9900. Even when you look at the thickness of it, thickness isn't so bad. It's pretty much almost the same, but not quite really. Either way. Now, internally, you have 512 megabytes of RAM as well. You have 512 megabytes of storage, and the device itself does come with, let's see, storage, 147.4 megabytes of application space is currently available, and of course I have the memory card in there, and a advanced system settings. Let's go to device versions, check out the OS. So the TELUS version does come loaded with 7.0.0.319, which is interesting. Be interesting to see whether or not they issue some updates for the device, how quickly this device gets updated versus the other devices. And when it comes to the camera, you do have 5 megapixel camera. Now, the issue with that may be of concern for some is the fact that it does have it's not autofocus. It does use the EDOF camera. It doesn't actually use the autofocus camera or anything. That may be a turn off for some, but you get the same 5 megapixel camera that's on the Blackberry Bold 9900, and overall it doesn't really take that bad of pictures. It just depends on how you're set up to go ahead and take pictures. Really something that you kind of have to play around with the settings in order to go ahead and adjust them, but that's pretty much it. You do have NFC built into this device as well, so you can adjust some of that stuff if you do so wish. Make use of NFC. As you can see, near field communication. It's interesting as to why it was left off of some devices but included on the Blackberry Curve series, but who am I to question the reasoning there? That's pretty much it for now. That's the quick unboxing, but we'll have a full review up for you guys later. Make sure that you check it out if you're a Blackberry Curve fan. Blaze out.